to All Things Podcast. I am your host, Nati Mube, and I want to welcome you all and thank you for joining us this morning. Wherever you're watching us from, we welcome you. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Do not leave this channel without subscribing. And thank you to all our subscribers. We are now towards 600 subscribers. So thank you so much for tuning in. Today we want to talk about the economic freedom fighters, the EFF, and their stance on foreigners, illegal foreigners. All right, and for just foreigners in general. All right. So I want to take a look at the EFF and its position when it comes to illegal foreigners. All right. So the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, spoke, and in his speech, well, he's been speaking in favor of all foreigners, whether legally or illegally. We should give him that. So he has been speaking in favor of uh, all foreigners. He does not discriminate whether you are legally or illegally. He supports that their presence in the country. He has never denounced them. He has never said anything bad about them. Previously, he did, and then he had a change of mind. But recently, as he speaks, he's never condemned or joined the masses in their frustration with regards to the illegal foreigners. All right. So there are two things, and we need to clarify. All right. We need to clarify. You have legal foreigners, all right, and you have illegal foreigners. Now the war, it's not against legal foreigners. The war is against illegal, those who are not in the country rightfully so. All right, and I think let us define what it means. What do we mean when we say somebody is illegal? All right, an illegal foreigner in South Africa, it's a non-citizen present in the country without valid authorization from the Department of Home Affairs, such as visa, asylum permit, or permanent residence. All right. So anybody who is in the country and does not have a valid authorization from the Department of Home Affairs to be in the country. You do not have a visa, asylum permit, or permanent residence. You are illegally in the country. That is the law of the country. It has nothing to do with our feelings. It has nothing to do with our love or hatred for foreigners or for people from outside South Africa. If you are in the country without a valid authorization from the Department of Home Affairs, you don't have a visa, you don't have papers, you don't have right documentation, and you did not use the rightful entry ports. You did not come through the border. Some, they just jumped a fence and you find yourself in South Africa. You are here illegally. Now, that has nothing to do with the citizens of South Africa attacking you because you are from another country. It has to do with the law of the country, all right? Whether I love my fellow brothers and sisters from outside South Africa or I hate them, it doesn't change the law. My love for them or my hatred for them, it doesn't change what the law requires from them if they want to be in the country. If they want to be in the country, they must have a valid authorization from the Department of Home Affairs. They must be in the country legally. All right. So this is the law of the country. Okay. All right. So this includes individuals who entered without a passport, overstayed their visa, or violated permit conditions. They're subject to arrest and deportation under the immigration law. All right. So anybody who is in the country and they entered without a passport and or overstayed their visa, or they violated their conditions, they are subject to arrest and deportation under the Immigration Act. All right. So it has nothing to do with whether you love them or you hate them. We're talking law, based on the law of the land in South Africa. All right. Based on the law in South Africa. If you do not have a passport, you overstayed your visa, you violated your permit conditions, you are subject to arrest and deportation under the Immigration Act. All right. Okay. Now let's continue. An illegal foreigner is anyone inside the country in contravention of this act, including prohibited person. All right. So who is an illegal foreigner? Anyone who comes to the country without authorization from Home Affairs, without a visa, without asylum permit, without permanent residence. Anyone who is in the country and does not have the documentation that allows him to be in the country. Anyone who is inside the country in contravention of this act, including persons that are not prohibited to come to the country. So that is who an illegal foreigner is. All right. So I understand the much and much not to be attacking everyone who is a foreigner. I understand much and much to be concerned about illegal foreigners, people without documentation, people without papers, people without official authorization to be in the country. In other words, these people are in the country illegally, okay? And it's criminality for them to be in the country illegally. Or one, how did you enter the country? In other words, if you're in the country illegally, you did not use the right channel to enter the country, okay? Because if you use the right channel to enter the country, then it will be impossible for you to enter the country. But the fact that you are in the country illegally, it means you used illegal means to be in the country. That is criminality on its own. Now, that is law, okay? That is the law of the country, okay? It has nothing to do with how we feel about the people from other nations. It has nothing to do with our feelings. It has nothing to do with our hatred for them. It has nothing to do with our love for them. Layo, welcome, brother, and welcome to all of you who have just joined us. We are talking about the EFF. If you do not know the EFF is the fourth largest party in South Africa, the Economic Freedom Fighters, led by their leader, CIC, Julius Malema. So the EFF and Julius Malema, they are in defense or protecting or, defending or protecting the illegal foreigners, because the war, it's not against legal foreigners. The war is against illegal foreigners. So the EFF and its leader, Julius Malema, they appear to be protecting them. And I want to discuss why is Malema and his EFF taking such a position to defend or to say nothing positive about the March and March, or to attack those who are saying we want illegal immigrants gone out of our country. All right. And why is it that the credential, welcome, brother. It's been a long time. Thank you for joining us. Dennis Beckham, hi, I'm new here. Is this an LGBTQ safe space? Brother, this is a safe space for everyone. We do not discriminate against anybody. All right, but when truth must be spoken, we speak about truth. So we allow everybody to speak whatever they want to speak, to believe whatever they want to believe. All right. As long as you are not imposing your lifestyle on anybody, we got no problem with you. All right. The topic is about the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters, a political party in South Africa. Recently, South Africans took to the street to march against illegal foreigners in their country. They are saying in South Africa, there are more than 30 million, all right? More than 30 million foreigners. More than 30 million foreigners in South Africa, all right? And the official population of South Africa is 65 million, okay? In other words, on top of the 65 million South African citizens, you have 30 million foreigners. That makes the population of South Africa to be 90 million because of these foreigners. And South Africans are saying enough is enough. We have so much illegal foreigners in South Africa. It's time they head back home. All right. You've got people from Nigeria, people from Malawi, people from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, many countries are here. Even Ghana, people from Ghana are here. People from Congo are here. In fact, to be honest with you, there is no African country which does not have its residents in its citizens in South Africa. All the 54 states of Africa have their people here in South Africa, and many of them are illegally in the country. And so South Africans took to the streets to demand that these illegal foreigners must leave South Africa. And I want you to understand, illegal foreigners, not every foreigner, illegal. If you are in the country illegally, they demand that you leave the country. But if you are in the country legally, they have no problem with you. So they are against undocumented foreigners, against undocumented foreigners only. Okay, so it's not an attack on all foreign nationals, only foreign nationals who does not possess proper documentation. All right, now let's talk about the EFF. You see, the reason the EFF, remember the EFF, it's a political party in South Africa. All right, Dennis says South Africa need a Donald Trump type president. Well, you are correct. A president who is able to make decisions. Well, in that light, a president who's able to take decisions, and a president who's able to put his people first. I think that I agree with you there. All right. Now, the reason the EFF won't come out against illegal foreigners or won't come out against foreigners, it is because the EFF is trying to be a continental movement. All right, the EFF is trying to be a continental movement, and with that, the EFF has branches in some countries in Africa, or especially in our neighboring countries. The EFF has branches in Namibia, in Zimbabwe, in Liberia, in Lesotho, in Swaziland, some they say in Nigeria, I'm not sure if that is true, and Botswana. All I can say is that the EFF is trying to have branches outside South Africa. The EFF wants to have a continental footprint, and therefore it is difficult for the EFF to want to have a continental footprint and then attack foreigners, because the EFF cannot attack people from Namibia, because the EFF has people who are members or who are its members in Namibia. All right, the EFF cannot attack people from Zimbabwe because there are people who are members of EFF in Zimbabwe. All right, in Liberia, there are people who are members of EFF in Liberia. In Swaziland, there are people who are members of EFF in Swaziland. So the EFF is not able to condemn these foreigners because they are their members in the African diaspora. So it is difficult for the economic freedom fighters to stand with March and March, to stand with anyone who is calling for the foreigners to leave the country, because some of these foreigners, some of these illegal foreigners are members in good standing of the economic freedom fighters in their countries where they come from. So when the EFF attacks them, when the EFF says to them, go home, go back home, the EFF will be sending its own members back home. Meanwhile, the EFF is preaching the gospel of one Africa, of borderless Africa. So it is impossible for the economic freedom fighters to stand with the citizens of South Africa, because they are not about nationalism. They are about continent. They want to have a continental footprint. And this is where the EFF members find themselves. And especially we've seen videos of some EFF members, whether they are true members or they're pretending to be members, it matters not. But what they are saying is that they are not in agreement with the leadership of EFF when it comes to how they behave or how they treat this matter of illegal foreigners. And I can tell you for free that the EFF, in its own terms, they believe that they're standing on principle. What principle? In principle, in order to show that they are indeed a movement for all Africans, all right? We have no problem for the EFF to be a movement for all Africans. This is what they're saying. We have no problem for the EFF to be a movement of all Africans. But currently, we have a problem and in South Africa. Okay, we don't have an African problem. We have a problem in South Africa that we have 30 million foreigners, majority of them illegal foreigners in the country. We want these illegal foreigners out of our country. And the EFF says, no, no, let these people stay. The EFF says, no, these people who are demanding illegal foreigners to go to leave the country are wrong, or they are not loving, they're not caring. And I think the leader said that if the moment they're done with the illegal foreigners, they will be coming for the Tswanes in Northwest. They'll be coming for the people in Limpopo, and saying that the Zulus, when they're done with the illegal foreigners, they'll be coming to you in Northwest. They'll be coming to you in Limpopo. I mean, like, that statement, I believe it was so low to an extent that it misses the point. It portraying the Zulus as animals, or as people who love war, or as people who will just destroy and attack its own people. All right, so that statement, it was not very nice to digest. But anyway, that's what he said. Credential commentary says, bro, don't fall into the trap of anti-immigration. Lio says it's campaign strategy. Yes, listen, in this show, Credential, we present the truth as it is. All right, we do not dilute, we do not compromise. We present the events as they happen. Okay, we have no reason to be personal, so we're not going to be personal on this show. We're just going to share information and share analysis of what we see happening. We do not take a side. All right, we do not pick a side. We do not stand with foreigners. We do not stand with illegality. We stand with truth. We stand with the law. That's why we're saying illegal foreigners, constitutionally, it is wrong. No one is forbidden from coming to the country, all right? But only people coming to the country legally. That is the law of the land, all right? And if we are to obey the law of the land, if we are all to be the law-abiding citizens, the question becomes now that when the citizens of South Africa are saying, we want those who are illegal in the country, the citizens, the legal citizens, have identified some people who are in the country illegally and are saying, these who are in the country illegally, we want them out of the country. And then the people will now be angry at the citizens who are saying, we have identified illegal people in our communities, in our townships, in our places, and we want these illegal foreigners out of our spaces. And then you say to those people who have identified criminality, who have identified someone who are in the country breaking the law by their presence in the country, if the Constitution of South Africa is to be taken serious, then every illegal foreigner must be dealt with according to the law. This is what we're saying. We're talking the law, not my feelings, not your feelings. All right. So it's about what the law says. Okay. So in order for us to understand this challenge of illegal foreigners, we need to know what the law says. And if we are to be law-abiding citizens, we need to apply the law equally. All right. Equally. Our credential says, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. That is very true. Credentials. That is very true. I agree with you 100%. We are not dealing with all foreigners. The topic of the day is dealing with illegal foreigners. Okay. Now, remember in South Africa, there is a, if you see a crime taking place and you assist the person in committing their crime, you are equally guilty of the same crime. That is the law in South Africa. All right. If I assist you in committing a crime, I am equally guilty with you. All right. That is the law in South Africa. So I can be arrested for assisting you to enter the country illegally. I can be arrested for assisting you in leaving the country illegally. All right. So according to the South African law, it is my duty and responsibility of every citizen to report and not to be part of any criminality. All right. That is the constitution of the land. All I am simply saying is that when do we choose not to defend that constitution? When do we choose not to protect that act, that immigration act? When do we choose not to be vociferous about this act that some are in the country illegally? And we know that there was a young man who was kidnapped for almost a month. All right, a young man kidnapped for almost a month. I believe it's Mazwi Kubeka. Mazwi Kubeka was kidnapped for almost a month, and we're told that he was held hostage by 2 Ethiopians, 2 Malawans, and some South Africans. You understand that? And you will discover that these Ethiopians and these Malawans did not have documentation, or they're in the country illegally. So this is what these people are raising. They're raising points that we have illegal foreigners in the country who are behaving in a way that is illegally doing illegal business. So the war, as I understand it, it's not against every foreigner. The war is not against everyone who is in South Africa from outside South Africa. The war is against illegal foreigners. That is my understanding. All right. Whether they are right or wrong, we're not yet there. But understanding what this is about, it's about illegal foreigners in South Africa. It's not about foreigners in South Africa who are in universities. It's not about foreigners in South Africa who have right documentation, right papers, who are working. No, it's not about foreigners in South Africa who came through the right channels. It's about foreigners in South Africa who came through the wrong channels, who violated the constitution to be in the country, who violated the Immigration Act to be in the country. That's what the March and March was all about. That's what the March and March was all about. Because if the march was against every foreigner, it means that every embassy should be evacuated, because in each and every embassy you've got foreigners, but those foreigners are legally in the country. You've got people from other nations, but those people are in the country legally. That is why the march and the march, we're not marching in the embassies, because if you want to get people who are not people from outside the country, the first place you can go to is the embassies. Because the embassies, you will find people, American embassy, there are Americans there. Chinese embassy, there are Chinese there. Zimbabwe embassy, there are Zimbabweans there. You understand that? So, but the attack, the war or the complaint or the cry, let me not say the attack, the complaint or the cry of March and March was about illegal foreigners. All right. Frank Renner says, I hold the Tunisian government responsible for anti-immigration rhetoric. Yeah, well, here's the thing that I want us to understand, and I want us not to miss. All right, okay, let me take Credential before I put my comment across. Credential says, Quran, that those who immigrants in God's cause will find abundant places of refuge. Um, and those who provide shelter and aid to the migrants are true believers. That is correct. That is correct. I agree with that sentiment. Credentials. I agree with that sentiment. Credentials. Our credential says, "Read all my commandment, my comments, please." Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll try my best to read your comments. Credentials. Now, here is what I want us to understand. Remember, there was a time where the whole world had no borders, all right? There was a time where people could go anywhere in the world, okay? They will travel. I understand that. And there was a time where there was no constitutions, there was no laws, okay? There were no borders. There was that time. But guys, in today's world, whether we like it or we don't like it, there are borders. Whether we like it or we don't like it, there are immigration laws. Whether we like it or not, there are passports, there are IDs, okay, there are documentations. We should not abuse ourselves with the olden times which we're not living under. We should not abuse our mind saying, well, Africa is for all Africans. I can go anywhere in the world, knowing very well that we are living in a time where everyone has an identity, everyone has a passport, everyone has documentation, okay? Gone are the days where we're just living without documentation, without papers, without anything. Gone are those days. So we cannot treat these immigration crisis like we're living in the, in the 1600s, okay? We're not living in the 1600s. We're living in 2026. And in 2026, each and every nation has a constitution. Each and every nation has a law. Each and every nation has immigration acts, immigration laws, which are designed to control movement in and out of the country. All right? Because the purpose of the Immigration Act or immigration law, it is not to prevent people from traveling, but it is to control them as they travel. It is to know who left the country. It is to know who came in to the country. The passport, it will tell us who came to our country, from which country came they from. So if somebody does not use a passport or a visa to come into a country, that country doesn't know who entered the country. We do not know how many people entered the country. We do not know how many people left the country. All right? And that is a problem. That is a problem in today's world. In the 1600s, that was not the problem. But today, it is a problem. Okay? It is a problem today. So let us deal with the immigration crisis according to the laws we have today. Let us not say, but as long you're an African, as long you're in Africa, you can move to any land. It is as true as that may be. No African is a foreigner in Africa. That is true. I understand that. But Africa has been divided into many countries. Africa has sovereign states, okay? You have South Africa, you have Ghana, you have Morocco, you have Angola, you have Zambia, you have all these nations, all right? And people are proudly Mozambican, people are proudly Nigerian, people are proudly people are proudly all these nations that they come from. But the moment South African says we need space to breathe, then people start saying, well, this is Africa. Well, it is Africa. I agree with you. It is Africa. But it is Africa which has developed. It's Africa which has rule of law. Nobody can enter in any school, even South Africans. You cannot just enter any school and say and go to a class. You cannot just enter any university in South Africa and say, well, I'm a South African, I have a right to education, and you just storm any university and go to sit in a class. It cannot happen. You need to be registered in any university, in any school that you are interested in going to. You need to have documentation. You need to have documentation. You need your matric certificate. You need your ID. You need all the papers that you are needed. You need to produce all paperwork for you in order to be admitted in a university. The fact that you are a South African and you are entitled to be admitted to any South African university, it does not give you a right to storm any university to say, the fact that I'm a South African, I have rights to be enrolled in any university in South Africa, therefore I am here to learn. You must have qualifications. You must have documentations. You must submit your paperwork in time. You must be approved for you to be in the university. Same applies with our African brothers. Yes, you are African. We are African. We have every right to be in any African country. No African state has any right to call us immigrant, to call us foreigners. But there are rules, there are laws. If you want to come to South Africa, do the necessary application, do the necessary work, do the necessary paperwork, enter the country legally. Enter the country legally. You will have no problems. And it doesn't go for entering South Africa in each and every country in Africa. If you want to, there is no country in Africa where you are allowed to just come from nowhere in the world and be a citizen in that country. It's not allowed anywhere. That is the rule of law. And that's what I'm saying, that we should not look at South Africans and think, oh, these people are xenophobic, or these people, they hate foreigners, oh, these people are not loving, oh, these people are selfish, oh, these people. No, it's not about that. It is the law of the land. Now, there are some leaders in South Africa who are in a compromised position because of what they believe and because of the narrative of what they preach. Example, the economic freedom fighters, don't expect them to ever say anything bad about foreigners, because the economic freedom fighters has supporters outside South Africa, has members outside South Africa. The EFF in South Africa is the only political party that has presence outside South Africa. And because the economic freedom fighters, they have presence outside South Africa, then it is the duty of the economic freedom fighters to protect, to defend foreigners. Because outside South Africa, these foreigners are their members. Outside South Africa, these foreigners are members in good standing of the economic freedom fighters. So the economic freedom fighters cannot say to people from Swaziland, go back home, because the economic freedom fighters has membership or has members in Swaziland, all right? So the economic freedom fighters can never speak bad about people from Swaziland, because that is the membership of the economic freedom fighters. The economic freedom fighters can never say anything bad about people from Namibia, because these are their members. So they cannot speak bad about the people coming from Namibia in South Africa. They cannot say these are foreigners. Even when they're illegal foreigners, they cannot say that, because they are promoting Pan-Africanism. They are promoting Marxist. They are promoting Leninism, okay? So they will never do that, because these are their members. So when the economic freedom fighters wants to go to Namibia, how can they go to Namibia when they're chasing Namibians in South Africa? Okay, when the Namibians are in South Africa, the economic freedom fighters are treating them bad, calling them foreigners, calling them illegal foreigners. But at the same time, these Namibians are the members of the economic freedom fighters. So the economic freedom fighters will always choose not the citizens of South Africa. The economic freedom fighters is then forced to choose foreigners over South Africans. That is what is happening. Let me take Frank. Let me take Frank. Frank says that those who immigrate in God's cause will find, will find abundant places and refuge, and those who provide shelter and aid to migrants are true believers. Yeah, that is Quran, also credentials. Funek says, we are talking about illegal foreigners here. You get arrested in other African countries if you enter illegally. Surely there is something they get in return. That is true. That is true. Credential commentary says, stop talking so much and comments, bro. Stop talking so much and read comments, bro. I am sorry, credentials. I'm sorry, credentials. Forgive me. User JW6 says, the problem is not what you are saying. We're saying we're the same energy for the whites in the Western Cape. All right. Okay. So user is saying, where is the energy for the whites in the Western Cape? Why are we only attacking blacks? Okay, user, I get you there. User says again, answer the question. All right, we'll answer the question. Frank says, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. I agree with you. User says, this is why I have decided to stay in Vietnam. All right, user, you ask a good question as to why are white illegal foreigners not seen in this march and march, or not being attacked. Here's the thing, brother. The people who are marching are people who live in villages, are people who live in what we call lokshini, towns, you know. They're not people who are living in suburbs, people who are living in towns, people who are living in the cities, all right? So these are ordinary people who are living with these illegal foreigners day to day, all right? So they're not talking about foreigners in Cape Town. They're not talking about foreigners elsewhere. They're talking about illegal foreigners in their community. So they're not talking about things they don't know. It's not speculation. They're dealing with people they see every day. They're dealing with people they meet in the street every day. Okay? So majority of these people, they're not privileged to be in Cape Town. They're not privileged to be in the places we're mentioning where the rich people are staying. And majority of illegal white people, like we're saying, are in Cape Town. And not only are they in Cape Town, they are rich, okay? They live in expensive cities, expensive properties, okay? And these people who are marching are not your richest people in South Africa, are not your richest people, are the poorest of the poor, saying we cannot breathe in our communities because of illegal foreigners. So the illegal foreigners they see, they don't see white illegal foreigners, they see black illegal foreigners, they see Somalian illegal foreigners, they see Ethiopians illegal foreigners in their communities. So the struggle that they are fighting against, it has nothing to do with the illegal whites in Cape Town, but it has everything to do with the illegal people in their own communities. All right, let me read the comments. All right. User says, what an embarrassment. That, okay. Tell us the truth says, have you all read the protocols of the elders of Zion? User says, Afrophobic. User then says, so you admit that they are sellouts. User says, they only see money. Brother, listen, here is what is needed. So the black people, okay, let me put it this way. These illegal foreigners from Nigeria, from wherever they are coming from, they are not integrating in the suburbs, most of them. They're not in the suburbs. They're not in Cape Town, all right? They're not in Sandton, all right? Then that's not where they are. They are in the communities. They are in the poor communities in South Africa. They are in the villages in South Africa. And these people who are marching, they are not concerned about things not happening in their community. They are only concerned about the situations in their communities. They are saying, where we live, we are surrounded by illegal foreigners, all right? Where we are staying, we are surrounded by illegal foreigners. They are now too much. We want them deported. We want them gone out of our communities. This is the cry. So we must not misunderstand the cry. There are white people who are also complaining about illegal white people in Cape Town. We've seen the videos of white people crying in Cape Town, complaining about the living conditions in Cape Town, telling us that it is expensive to rent a property. Okay, in Cape Town, a one-bedroom apartment with a toilet, a tiny little kitchen, cost about 16,000 rand. And many people, they don't earn 16,000 rand. So in Cape Town, prices have been hiked to drive out the citizens of South Africa in order to allow the illegal foreigners from Europe, from Ukraine, from all over the world to reside in Cape Town. So also in Cape Town, the people there are complaining, but because their voices are not as loud as these black voices, so people will think that there's nothing being done to white illegal foreigners. No, there are voices crying in Cape Town about white illegal foreigners. There are voices crying in Cape Town. White people themselves are being squeezed out of Cape Town because they can no longer afford rent. They can no longer afford living in Cape Town. And white foreigners, Chinese foreigners, Asian foreigners, Europeans are taking over Cape Town. So it depends on whose location. Where are you? Where are you living? All right, let's go. Let me read your comments again. Funeka Nteta says, they even have audacity to threaten citizens not to open spaza shops in townships, claiming it's their business. Exactly. Funeka, that is the right point. Funeka, that is the right point. You see, so they are talking about these illegal foreigners who are even competing with them in their own communities, controlling their communities, telling them where to operate and where not to operate. So it has nothing to do with what is happening in Cape Town, what is happening all over the world. They're dealing with their crisis in their day-to-day life. And I believe they are correct not to try and be diverted by the concerns of some people. Oh, why are you not chasing white people? Why are you not chasing the problem in the communities? It is not yet white people. Their problem are these Nigerians. Their problems are these undocumented people. That is their source of their problem. Who are the drug dealers? The drug dealers are Nigerians. Who are the scammers? The scammers are Nigerians. Who are the traffickers? Nigerians. All right? So they're dealing with their immediate problem. And therefore, if you are to judge them based on what they're saying. The police have confirmed that the Nigerians are these are the runners of the drug cartels in South Africa. We know that. All right. Let me read the comments. And thank you, Funega, there. Let me read the comments. A user says the cry is a joke because why is the black middle class not own the poor areas industries and put them to work? And he says you are lying. I don't know when he said, why did he say I'm lying? What is it that I was talking about? All right, okay, let me take user says name the place in Cape Town. Oh, so you okay, I get you. Name the place in Cape Town. User says and send us the location. I will make a call and show you that you are lying. All right. User says, where in Cape Town are white people doing this? User says, okay, 26 and 28 gangs, the Russian mafia in Cape Town, Nigerians, brother, you see, I have no need. I have no need, user, to prove to you or to send you location or to send you to a particular place, a particular apartment, or a place where the prices are so high to such an extent that even white people are now moving out of Cape Town, coming to Johannesburg. Even white people are now leaving Cape Town because it is expensive over there. Houses are expensive over there in Cape Town. I don't have to prove it to you. All right. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. If you are interested in finding out, you gotta do your own research. Remember, we are sharing the facts, and you are free to disagree. You are free to disagree, but as you disagree, you must disagree based on the information you have. So if you don't have information, probably you are hearing what I'm saying for the first time. Before you argue, verify what I'm saying, if it is true or not true. All right. So, but that is the condition. That is the situation. It has been happening for the longest time. So it has been happening for the longest time. So what we have here, what, God bless you. God bless you. You know the rest of Cape Town. Then if you know the rest of Cape Town, then that is good. If you know the rest of Cape Town, that is good. Then you will know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then I don't know where in Cape Town you are living. All right. I don't know where in Cape Town you are living. All right. So this is what I wanted us to understand, that the EFF is standing on principle. Okay. The EFF is standing on principle. Whether that principle is correct or that principle is wrong, they seem not to care. All right. Whether their principle will cost them votes or not, they seem not to care. All they care about is being a continental movement. All right. It's being a movement for all Africans. And some people are saying, but we are the ones who are voting for the EFF. It is not the illegal foreigners who are voting for the EFF. It's not the illegal foreigners who are voting for the EFF. It is us, the citizens of South Africa, voting the EFF. So the EFF is supposed to listen to us. The EFF is supposed to come and sit down with us and listen to our cries and support us. And the EFF is not doing that. And the EFF will not do that. The EFF will protect its interest. And the interest of the EFF at this point is to appear to love Africans. It is appear to be in love with these Africans, whether legally or illegally on the country. That's the EFF. So they don't want to be seen to be attacking or to be in agreement or to be wishing these illegal foreigners to go home. That is the economic freedom fighters. And the economic freedom fighters, their leader, Julius Malema, I am not sure whether it is his personal view when it comes to illegal foreigners, or it is the view of the party written down, because it is not part of the 7 cardinal pillars. Their defense of the foreigners, is it part of their 7 cardinal pillars? Anybody who knows the economic freedom fighters is defending or protecting illegal foreigners part of their 7 cardinal pillars? I don't know. What does the 7 cardinal pillars say about illegal foreigners? But my point that I want us to know and understand is that as long as the EFF wants to be, or as long as the EFF has members in Ghana, members in, not Ghana, members in Namibia, members in Swaziland, members in Zimbabwe, members in Lesotho, as long there are EFF branches outside South Africa, the EFF is bound to protect all foreigners, because it means the EFF has a mandate and has a desire to have branches in Angola, to have branches in Congo, to have branches all over Africa. And because they want to have branches all over Africa, then the EFF has to protect all foreigners, has to protect all African people, all right? Because that is their mission, to be present in all African countries, if possible. So don't expect the EFF to stand with you when you say foreigners must go. Don't expect the EFF to defend you when you say we don't have jobs because these illegal foreigners are taking our jobs. The leader of the EFF came out and said the jobs occupied by illegal foreigners, or jobs occupied by foreigners, you South Africans, you don't want them. You cannot do them. What I like about Julius Malema, he did not dismiss or disagree that he did not dismiss or disagree that foreigners are occupying jobs or have taken jobs. His only reason is that the jobs taken by foreigners, South Africans don't want them anyway. So he does not dispute that these foreigners are occupying jobs. He only says South Africans don't want those jobs. All right? So these foreigners are here to take work or employment which South Africans do not want. But South Africans are telling EFF and Julius Malema, we cannot work because of this cheap labor. We cannot be employed anywhere because of these people. We are unemployable because of these people. And Julius Malema says, no, it is not true. Even if these foreigners were to leave, you will still not accept these jobs because you are educated, because you know you love yourself. In that statement, he's simply saying foreigners don't love themselves, because when you say South Africans will not take the jobs done by foreigners because South Africans love themselves. In other words, we are saying these foreigners don't love themselves. What are you saying? That's why I said that the statement of Julius Malema, it is difficult to digest because it really does not make sense at all. It really does not make sense at all at some time. But like I'm saying, it doesn't have to make sense to you and me. This is what the EFF stands for. This is what Julius Malema stands for. Whether we like it or not, it is their belief, it is their party, it is their movement. And they've decided that they will be in defense of all African brothers and sisters. Let them be. All right. Okay, let me read the comments. Lutando says, and welcome Lutando, and welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us this morning. Lutando says South Africa is a constant country. Okay. A user says, how can an African be illegal in Africa? You are missing the point. You talked, but you are not dealing with the core root. Should the core root not owning South Africa? Funega says, user, I can be arrested in Nigeria if I go there illegally. Are you disturbed? Why is this African unity be in SA? Hey, that's a point. Everyone says Africa must unite, but that unity must happen in South Africa. That's a problem. That's a problem. Why is this unity only in South Africa? Why can't this unity be done in Angola? Why can't this unity be done in Morocco? Why can this unity not be done somewhere? All of you, you want to unite in South Africa. I mean, I think the citizens of SA, when they cry, please, they are crying. It's legitimate. It's legitimate. It's a legitimate cry. You understand that? Yeah, Lutando, you are very correct there. The unity must only happen in South Africa. Imagine. All right, I lost track of my okay, Lutando, yes, South Africa, okay, I'm back. User says, okay, Funeka says, I can be arrested in Nigeria if I go there illegally. Are you disturbed? Why this African unity be in SA? Correct, Funega. User says, as Black people, should your main focus not be owning the whole of Africa? And as South Africans, should you not own South Africa? Should you people not be not? I think, user, you are too excited to an extent that your memory is failing you. Your thinking is failing you. I think. You see, here's the thing. User. Africa has been divided into more than 50 states and 50 countries. And each of the more than 50 countries of the African nations has constitution, has a law. Each and every African country has immigration law, okay? In all African countries that you are talking about, it is illegal to enter any of the African country illegally, all right? No country in Africa allows illegal immigrant or illegal foreigners. In every African state, you need permit to work in that country. You need permit to do business in that country. You need permit to be there. Failure to produce official authorization, you are arrested and deported. No African country or no African state allows illegality. That is the law in Africa. So when you say no foreigner can be a foreigner in Africa, you are wrong. You can be a foreigner in Africa because as long as you're outside your country, you are a foreigner. A foreigner simply means stranger. If you come from Uganda to South Africa, you are a stranger in South Africa. You are not from, the word foreigner simply means you are not from that country. You are from somewhere. We do not know you here, okay? So some of you think foreigner, it's a big word. It means something powerful. Foreigner does not mean anything powerful. It simply means you are not a citizen of the country. And it is true, because if your nationality is Ghana, if your nationality is Angola, when you come to South Africa, you are a foreigner. Being a foreigner, it does not de-Africanize you. Being a foreigner, it does not make you less African. Yes, you are African. Yes, you are in Africa, but you are in a foreign land because it is not your land of birth. You are in a foreign land because it is not your country. I am a South African. The moment I leave South Africa and enter Mozambique, I am a foreigner in Mozambique. Being a foreigner in Mozambique, it does not make me less African. I am still an African. I am still a proud African, but in a foreign land of my fellow brothers. Now that I am in their land, now that I am in Mozambique, I must abide by the laws, by the constitution of Mozambique. I cannot say I am a South African, therefore I will not abide by the law of Mozambique because I am a South African. No, 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 I'll be deported immediately. So being a foreigner, you don't cease to be an African. You are an African. You will never change. Even if you go to America, even if you go to overseas, you go to China, you go to Asia, you go to the Middle East, you remain an African. All right? So let us not manipulate people and say, well, no African can be a foreigner in Africa. You can be a foreigner in Africa. Understand what a foreigner is. Then you will have no problem, because many people, they don't understand what a foreigner is. All right? Okay. All right. So this is the point I'm making. This is the point I'm making. And I said again that we don't have to pretend like we're living in the 1500s. We're not living in the 1400s, all right? In the 1400s, we had no passport, okay? In the 1400s, we had no, maybe we had no borders, okay? We had no identity. We had no such things, all right? But today, it's 2026. Each and every person has identity. This is where we're living. So if your argument is that, well, this is Africa, it's for all Africans, and African can live anywhere in Africa. That is true. And Africa can go anywhere in Africa. Yeah, that is true. But an African, as much as he owns the land of Africa, as much as the whole Africa belongs to him, he must abide by the African law. He must abide by the laws each country has designed. Okay? So you cannot just come here and make noise and say, no, all Africans in Africa are free to go anywhere. You are not free to go anywhere unless you have the authority, the authorization to go anywhere. All right? So don't play that card that as long you are an African, then you are free to enter any African country with or without documentation. That it's not so. It's not so. In Vietnam, where you are, user, how did you get to Vietnam? User, you said you are in Vietnam. You said you left Africa and you went to Vietnam. You left South Africa and went to Vietnam. That's what you said. How did you get to Vietnam? You had no documentation? How did you get there? Are you illegally in Vietnam? User, talk to me. Since you are defending illegal immigrants, are you in Vietnam illegally? Did you come? Brother, I'm asking you a question. In Vietnam, are you there legally or illegally? Answer the question. You said you are in Vietnam. Are you there illegally or legally? Dennis says foreigner is a person who isn't from that country. Exactly. That is a foreigner. A simple word, not difficult. It's not even an insult. User says, don't talk about Vietnamese. They are free. Like Funega, he said SA passport. User, did you use your passport when you went to Vietnam? Or you just went there illegally? He says, I used the Vietnamese law and visa that was issued by Vietnamese people, not by one. Brother, the fact that you use Vietnamese law and visa that was issued by Vietnamese, that's what we want. Anybody who comes to South Africa must use the South African law to be in South Africa. I don't understand for somebody who claims to be traveling all over the world. You claim to be traveling the world. And if you are traveling in the world, you should know that any country, you cannot enter a country illegally. You must enter a country legally. So I don't know what is your problem unless you are pretending to be a traveler, unless you are pretending to be traveling. Because if you are traveling indeed, you should know that you need your passport. You should know that you need your visa. You need your proper documentation. You should know that. I don't understand when you have a problem with people who are requiring people to have documents when they enter their country. What is your problem, user? User says, are there white people in Cape Town, foreigners? A lot of them, they are there. Stop running from the main question. Listen, in South Africa, we have illegal white foreigners, illegal Chinese foreigners, illegal European foreigners, illegal Palestinian foreigners, Israeli foreigners. In South Africa, each and every continent, okay, has its own people in South Africa. Each and every African state has its citizens in South Africa, majority of them illegally in South Africa. There is no nation in Africa you will not find in South Africa. Both white, black, Asians, Indian, Japanese, Koreans are here in South Africa. There is no race that is not in South Africa. You understand that? So you are not to, in fact, you are even belittling the conversation. You see, you are even making this conversation petty by making it a racial thing. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with documentation. Whether black, white, Indian, Japanese, Koreans, European, it doesn't matter, Asian. If you come to South Africa, you must come through the authorized channels. We don't care about your race. We don't care whether you are poor. We don't care whether you are rich, male or female, married or not married. We do not care about your status. All we care about, do you have documentation? Did you enter the country legally? And if we establish that you have entered the country legally, then we leave you alone. But if we discover that you entered the country illegally, then that is criminality. You have broken the law. Lutando says, brother, these people have low IQ. Stop explaining to them. Lutando, if you have ever spoken, you have spoken, my dear. You have spoken, my dear. All right, user says, okay, if it's not about race or status, then why are you not burying the others too? We're done from there. We're done from there. If you want the answer to that, rewatch the episode. You will get your answer there. We've explained that. Show me videos. You said you said you know Cape Town. You said you know Cape Town in and out. If you know Cape Town in and out, I don't have to send you any video. How can somebody who knows Cape Town, how can somebody who knows Cape Town like the back of their hand and ask me now for evidence? Funega Nteta says, don't waste your time, breath, with this user guy. We know the country he is from by mere talking empty-headed questions. Woo. He says, if you want to see if I'm traveling, then let's do a debate. No. Now we have no time for debates. We have no time for debates. We have no time for debates. Edward Tani, welcome, brother. Welcome, brother. Thank you for joining us. Edward Tani says, if an indigenous African, then you must respect each nation or state law. Exactly, Edward Tani. Truth spoken there, brother. An African is a respectful man. An African is a respectful man. Once you see a man who is African and is disrespectful to the laws of another state, that man, it's not a good man. It's not a good man. Any good man, every good man will follow the law. Once you do criminality, it doesn't matter the reason of your criminality. Criminality is criminality. If you steal, you cannot say, well, I stole because I was hungry. Then your hunger justifies your criminality. Even if you steal because of hunger, even if you kill because of hunger, criminality has been committed. Your reasons does not justify the act of criminality. Criminality is criminality, no matter what beautiful reasons you can put behind the criminality. Criminality is criminality. It doesn't matter who does it, where they do it, it's criminal. You understand that? It's criminal. It's criminal. And so this is what we are saying. And therefore, if the law in South Africa if South Africa did not have a bill or an act that did not have an act that deals with immigration or illegal immigrants, I don't believe you and I will be talking about this. We're talking about it because there is a law in South Africa, all right? So irregardless of how some people behave in terms of that law, it is not our duty to force them to see things the way we see them. If we can understand that each and every person is entitled to their own opinion, to their own view, okay? We are not to force anyone to see things the way we see them. We are not to force anybody to understand things, to view matters the same way we view them. Even God himself, he has given us the freedom of choice, okay? He has given us religious liberty. We have freedom to believe whatever we want to believe. So if people believe that it is okay for them to storm any nation without documentation, without papers, that is what they believe, let them enter these nations without papers. Let them enter these countries without identity, passport, visas, permits. Let them enter. And when the law catches them, let them not cry foul, because you can enter as many countries without following the law, without obeying the law. But one day the law will catch up with you and you will be deported. Right. Elizabeth says you must go to people's place with correct documents. Stop breaking the law of people's land. Exactly, that's a point. Monique Kells, welcome. User says you are not going to address this. The problem I have is not immigration law, but how other illegals are treated and others being catered for. That's another topic on its own, brother. That's another topic on its own. We're not even discussing that in this podcast. We're not discussing how illegal foreigners are being treated. We're not there. We're not in that discussion. We are talking about the fact that they're illegal. It means they're not even supposed to be in the country. Before you deal with how they're treated, we are saying they are not supposed to be in the country because they are in the country illegally. That is the first step you need to pass, okay? If you pass that step that they're in the country illegally, let's deal with that. You cannot jump to deal with how they're treated without addressing why are they here? How did they get here? Which laws did they violate? Which laws did they break? You overlook that, you ignore that, you are running as to how they're treated badly. Why are they treated badly? Who is treating them badly? What are they saying to them? We're not interested in that. Before we come to where they live, before we come to where they work, before we address all that, let's start with how did they enter the country? Are they here legally or illegally? Because we don't have to protect illegality. We don't have to glorify illegality. And we're not going to do that. We are not going to do that. Each and every country has laws, and each and every law of the countries must be protected. As long that law does not force you to worship a God you don't want to worship, as long that law does not take away your freedom of choice, each and every law that does not violate your conscience, does not violate your worship, your God, your freedom, that law is good in the land. But any law that will force you to do things that go against your conscience, that is a bad law. That law should not be obeyed. I wouldn't want anyone to obey a law that violates their own conscience. I wouldn't want anybody to be coerced or to be forced to obey the law of the land, which clearly in their senses, it tells them that I hate this law. I don't want this law because this law is forcing me to do something I don't want to do. Any law that violates your conscience, any law that violates the will of God, we are not to obey that law. We are not to obey that law. We are to reject that law. But how can I reject immigration law? How can we reject Immigration Act when the simply Immigration Act wants to have a record of who entered the country, who left the country? You entered the country coming from where? Why are you in the country? What are you doing? For how long will you be in the country? That is good. That is a good law. Wow. Users say stop running scared. Let's debate and show our passport on traveling. Funeka says they think we are scared of whites in Cape Town. They really think so. They really think so. You know, and that is stupidity. That is stupidity. Because like we said, this has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with the law. Because the law has no color. The law does not choose whether you are Indian, whether you are colored, whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you are Chinese. The law does not choose. The law is law. The same law that applies to blacks, it applies to white. So when we talk about illegal foreigners, all races are included. As long it's a foreigner and illegal, we're talking about that. So don't come with your racist ideas. We are not there. We are not there. All right, we are not there. And therefore, back to my EFF brothers and sisters. My EFF brothers and sisters, I respect you. And I respect your standing on principle. Julius Malema, I respect you. I respect your standing on your principle, believing in uniting Africans, believing in one Africa, believing in a borderless Africa. I respect you, and I respect you for standing on that principle, even in the midst of attack. I respect you. If you believe it with your whole heart that you will never, ever, see wrong with foreigners, illegal foreigners in the country. You will never act or join those who are acting to send them back to where they come from. I respect that. I respect that. It is your choice. It is your policy. It is your view. It is your belief. But because you have that belief, then you cannot demonize those who don't believe the way you believe. You cannot demonize those who are fighting for their communities to be free from illegal foreigners. You cannot demonize those who are saying enough is enough. In our community, we're not able to do business because of illegal foreigners. They tell us they control who owns business. They tell us they control who can own a spaza shop. They control the Kasi economy. We want them out. They bring drugs in our communities. They bring prostitutions in our communities. They bring alcohol. They bring all this criminality in our communities. We do not want them. These are the people who are living with these illegal foreigners on their day-to-day lives. You don't live, I don't believe Julius Malema lives with foreigners, illegal foreigners where he stays. There are no illegal foreigners where he stays. There are no Nigerians selling drugs where he stays. There are no Nigerians doing evil stuff where he stays. He stays in the suburbs. He stays in a beautiful place with millionaires and billionaires. So the cries of the ordinary citizens do not affect Julius Malema. Julius Malema is not affected by illegal foreigners where he stays. He does not buy groceries where illegal foreigners are buying groceries. He does not buy his clothes where these illegal foreigners are buying his clothes. Yeah, Julius Malema, I think it was a year ago, 2 years ago, he was asked how much is a bread, how much is a loaf of bread. And Julius Malema said, I don't know. You see, so this is, I'm trying to show you the level between Julius Malema and the ordinary citizens. Julius Malema was asked, how much is a loaf of bread? How much is a loaf of bread? Julius Malema said, I don't know. Does anybody remember in their press conference, somebody asked him, how much is a loaf of bread? He said, I don't know. This is the level. Julius Malema is here. The illegal foreigners are here. The normal citizens are here. So he speaks against things that does not affect him. And those who are affected are then called vigilantes, called people with hate, called different things. All right. Having said all of this, the law of the land is the law of the land. By not defending the Constitution, by not defending the act, you are promoting them. In fact, I think I'll be remiss if I do not mention this. It was Julius Malema who told foreigners he said, if the borders are closed, what word did he use? He said, find smart ways of entering the country. I think he said, find creative ways to enter the country. It was Julius Malema telling foreigners that if you are not able to enter through the border, find creative ways to enter the country. It was Julius Malema. It was Julius Malema. And that's why I'm telling you that the EFF and Julius Malema will never take the side of the people when it comes to foreigners, because the EFF has membership in Namibia, membership in Swaziland, membership in Botswana, membership in Zimbabwe, membership in Lesotho. I'm not sure if it is true that the EFF has membership in Nigeria. I am not sure if that is true. But some are saying even in Nigeria, there are EFF branches. I am not sure about that. But I know of Swaziland. They have members in Swaziland. They have members in Namibia. I think in Namibia, if I'm not mistaken, they had even MPs, if not councillors. All right? So that's how the EFF is it's working. Funeka says Malema was complaining about foreigners on other videos years back until they bribed him with oil in Nigeria. Funeka. Woo! Okay. Lutando says, telling people to break the law. You understand that? So the man had said that. So you cannot expect a man who told people to find creative ways to enter South Africa. You cannot expect them when they've found those creative ways to enter South Africa and you expect him to chase them away. He cannot do that. He cannot do that. So people who are expecting EFF to change, it will not change. By changing, it will be compromising on its principle, on its policy. That's why I said, I respect the EFF. I respect the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, for his position and for sticking to his position. By me respecting it, it doesn't mean I agree with it. By me respecting Julius Malema's positions when it comes to illegal foreigners, it doesn't mean I support it. He's a man. He's free, entitled to his belief, entitled to his opinion, entitled to his stand. The fact that I don't like it, it doesn't mean I should call him evil. No, I don't have to call him evil. So you don't have to call him evil. Now, it comes to our brothers and sisters who are in our countries illegally. Lutando says, Funeka, Lutando says, Funeka, be careful, you might get sued. Oh, Funeka, be careful. You might get sued. You know, the CIC don't play. The CIC doesn't play these days. The CIC will sue you these days. He does that powerfully. He does that so much. So be careful. Be careful if you don't want to be sued. All right? User says Malema is man enough to defend his opinion. Yeah. So that's a fact. So we are living in interesting times, and the times in which we are living in, people hate truth. People hate truth. They will find every excuse in the world to evade truth. They will find any excuse in the world to evade truth. When you speak truth, they want to argue, they want to justify nonsense, they want to justify illegality, they want to justify criminality. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. We cannot justify criminality. We cannot do that. Let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with truth. Truth is South Africa, it's a sovereign state. Truth is South Africa has laws. Truth is South Africa has borders. As much as you are advocating for borderless Africa, we are not yet there. We are not yet in the borderless Africa. We have borders. We still have borders. The law has not changed. You come to the country, be legal in the country. You leave the country, live legally. This goes for both South Africans and non-South Africans. If a South African wants to leave South Africa, you must leave South Africa legally. If a foreigner wants to enter South Africa, you must enter South Africa legally. It goes for both citizens of South Africa and non-citizens of South Africa. All of us, we must be law-abiding citizens. No one is to be above the law. No one is to do illegality in South Africa or anywhere in the world for that matter. I think that is what we must make clear. That is what we must make clear. Before defending anyone, before looking at the reasons why people are here, before listening to any argument about the presence of illegal foreigners, first thing first, illegality should be condemned, criminality should be condemned, and any punishment that is to be applied for those who have committed illegality. When it is applied to the rapist, we are happy. When it is applied to the murderers, we are happy. When it is applied to criminals, we are happy. We only have a problem when the law is applied to foreigners. We have a problem when foreigners are told to come to the country legally. That's the only time we have problems. We only claim that we are all Africans when we want to do lawlessness. We only claim our Africanism when we want to break the law, when we want to enter countries illegally. That's the only time we realize our Pan-Africanism. No Pan-Africanism when you are sitting in your own nation. No Pan-Africanism when you are comfortable in your nation. The moment crisis hits, the moment you want opportunities, that's when you put on Africanism. That's when you put on one Africa. That is when you put on defend Africans. That is when you put on these are our brothers, these are our sisters. When you are in a country illegally. If these are your brothers, these are your sisters, why don't you obey the laws of their land? If these are your brothers, these are your sisters, why do you break the law of their land? Why do you come into the country illegally? Why do you use criminal means to enter the country? Even when you have entered the country, why do you do criminality? Why are you selling drugs? Why are you trafficking kids? Why are you sleeping with young girls from the age of 12? Why are you raping young girls? Why are you selling drugs? Why are you kidnapping men and women? Why are you stealing spaza shops? Why are you doing what you're doing? You don't have papers. You are in the country illegally. You are also abusing the citizens of the country. Why? Because you have guns, because you have gangs. Funega says, these cowards can't hurt even a sick fly in Nigeria. They can't fight Tinubu with their rights. Exactly. Exactly. Funega says, I don't have a brother who feeds youth of this nation with powder. Definitely. Definitely. You understand that? So this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And this is what the people are crying. This is what the people are crying. And I believe the cry is legitimate. I believe the cry is legitimate. We do have a lot of illegal foreigners in South Africa. There are many. Okay? There is no village in South Africa. There is no place in South Africa where there are no Ethiopians, where there are not Somalians, where there are not Pakistanians in South Africa. There's no place. Whether they're legal in the country or illegally, who knows? But there is a lot of them. Nigerians are everywhere in South Africa. I believe the stats told us that there are more than 8 million Nigerians in South Africa. Imagine, how do you have 8 million of your people in a foreign country? 8 million Nigerians in South Africa. Can you believe that? 8 million Nigerians in South Africa. 8 million. So this is what the people are crying. All right? These people are selling fake IDs. These people are selling fake passports. These people are doing all criminality. I believe we're understanding each other. We are talking about illegal foreigners. If you are a foreigner, you are legal in the country, relax. We are not discussing you. Relax, enjoy your coffee, enjoy your fruit and veggies, enjoy your kiwi there, enjoy your grains. Don't worry. Enjoy your carrot juice. We are not talking about you. Every foreigner who is in the country legally, we are not talking about you. Enjoy your work, enjoy your visa, enjoy your university, enjoy whatever you are doing. Every legal foreigner in South Africa, relax, relax, enjoy your time in South Africa. Don't even worry. Walk in the streets. The South African streets are safe for each and every legal foreigner. You don't have to worry whether you are from Congo, whether you are from Ghana, wherever you are coming from. Enjoy yourself in South Africa. Go to Kruger National Park. See animals. All right. See the Big Five. All right. Go to Durban. All right, go to Cape Town. Visit anywhere you want to visit in South Africa, as long you are legally in the country. No one will give you problems. No one will give you problems in South Africa. You will experience the love of South Africans. You will experience the care of South Africans. You will experience the friendliness of South Africans. As long as you are legally in the country. But those who are not legal in the country, South Africans are standing up and they say they don't want you in the country. Those of you who are able, why don't you go home, get a passport, come back? Because the problem is not your presence in the country. Your problem is you are here illegally and you are not known. You cannot be accounted for. Your fingerprints, nowhere. Your passport, nowhere. There's no record of you being in the country. Even if we see you committing crime in a CCTV, you can commit crime in a CCTV and leave the country. We'll never find you. Yes, we do have you on CCTV. We do have you on camera. We do have you on video, but we don't know who you are. We don't know where you come from. We will never find you. You understand? Because we do not know you. So let's get documented. Those of us who are not documented, let's do our best to be documented. If we must go home, be documented, come back, it's fine. But illegality, it's what they are after. So that will be my advice to each and every one of you who are in the country illegally. Please do yourself a favor. Go get papers, come back. Go get papers, be legal in the country. Because every illegal foreigner will be hunted like they're hunting them now. They want them gone. They want them gone. Respect the South African law. Respect the South African law. As much as you respect the laws when you are in your country, we know many foreigners in South Africa, they behave like kings because they're taking advantage of the kindness of South Africans. Yesterday, some Somalians were marching, telling our police in South Africa that they're getting sick and tired of being mistreated. They're getting sick and tired of being told that they are foreigners. Yes, they are foreigners, but the audacity to threaten the citizens of the country to say we are getting sick and telling our own South African police, telling our own men and women that they are sick and tired. You see the audacity of some of the foreigners, some illegal foreigners, some foreigners were even demanding SASSA, that the government should pay them SASSA, the grant money that is paid to South African elderly people. The audacity, marching for the benefits that are meant for the citizens of South Africa, marching and demanding to enjoy the benefits that are meant for the citizens, the elderly citizens of South Africa, demanding to be paid from our tax monies. The audacity. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's powerful, I tell you. It's powerful, I tell you. So some illegal foreigners, that the reason that these South Africans, they began to stand up now. They began to stand up now to say, no, enough is enough. These people have been abusing us. These people have been violating us. When we go to the hospitals, we cannot get treatment. We cannot get medication because these illegal foreigners, they wake up early in the morning to go to the hospitals. They are everywhere you go, in hospitals, in clinics. The citizens of the country are crying, complaining about these foreign nationals. Some of them, they come here for medication. Some of them, they come here for a grant. Some of them, they come here for illegal activities. Some of them, they come here for whatever reasons, you know. Funeka says, yo, we have tolerated this nonsense for a long time. Indeed, they have. South Africans have been. And like I tell you, South Africans are the most kindest people in the world. Kindest people in the world. Welcoming people in the world. They mind their business. You see, once you see South African stands, amen, enough is enough. South Africans can take abuse. South Africans can be abused. They will just complain about it internally. Once South Africans stands and once South Africans speaks, you must know that indeed South Africans are fed up. South Africans are fed up. Our schools are full. South Africans are not able to enroll their children because most of the foreigners, they bribe the school administrators in order to enroll their kids. When South African parents want their school enrolled, there's no space. Where did the space go? Illegal foreigners. Children are in those schools. Foreigners are in those schools. South Africans have no access to anything. This is what they're complaining about. This is what they are saying. All right? This is what they are saying. And it is true. Look at our electricity. Look at our electricity. 90 you see, here's the thing. The South African electricity, Eskom, cannot sustain its citizens. 65 million South Africans, all right? 65 million South Africans. On top of 65 million South Africans, you have 30 million foreigners. And you think, why are things expensive in South Africa? You think why it's hard for South Africans? We are feeding half the population we have because foreigners are almost half the population of South Africa. These foreigners are more, and that's the people are saying we have more foreigners than we can take. I know South Africa, it's a big land. I know South Africa, it's a big land, it's a big economy, it's big, but these people have crossed a line to an extent that they now want to control spaza shops. They now want to control who runs business, who must not run business. That is what has caused the spark. When Ethiopians, when Somalians, when Nigerians wants to run business in the communities of South Africans, when they want to control who can own a shop, who cannot own a shop. This is where the problem started. South Africans were silent. South Africans were sitting down, minding their own business, had no problem with anybody, until these foreigners grew wings and decided to be the bosses or decided to be the mafia of spaza shops, kidnapping our brothers, kidnapping our sisters, torturing them, threatening them, shooting them, killing them, stealing from them. Fernandez says 13 million. You are so crazy, man. You crazy, bro. They are open spaza shop with your money. You are missing the point. You are missing the point, Fernandi. You are missing the point. Fernandi, you are missing the point. You are missing the point. The issue, it's not spaza shop. The issue is you are in the country illegally. And as if that was not enough, you now want to control who can open a spaza shop, who can run a spaza shop in a country in which you are illegally there, but you want to control the citizens of the country. This is what is happening. The Ethiopians, the Somalians, the Nigerians are abusing the citizens of South Africa in that regard. All right? So we were not asking what money did they use to open this spaza shop. We're not there. We know that. We know they manufacture their own food, these Somalians, these Pakistanis. We know they manufacture their own food. You understand that? So we know a lot of illegality that they're doing, but we're not focusing on the illegality that they're doing, because focusing on their illegality, it will be glorifying their being illegal in the country. We're simply saying, if you are not in the country legally, please get your papers right, get your documentation right, because you are breaking the law of the country. That's what we are saying. That's what we are saying. It's not hatred, it's not a fight, it's not a war. It's about the law. It is the law of the country that anybody who is a foreigner in South Africa should come through the right channels. It is the law in South Africa. If you don't like that law, if you don't love this law, you don't like it, then get the hell out of South Africa. Leave South Africa. If you don't like the law, don't come to South Africa. If there's a law I don't like in Nigeria, I will not go to Nigeria. If there's a law I don't like in Swaziland, I won't go to Swaziland. But for me, if I decide to go to Swaziland, I must respect and obey and abide by each and every law or rule in Swaziland. That's what we're saying. Brother, if you get your papers right, you are legal in the country. Remember, when you come into South Africa, when you come into a country, we know who you are, where you come from. You are in South Africa to do what? How long you will be in South Africa? If you are here to do business, we will know that you are here to do business. If you are here to visit, we will know you are here to visit. If you are here for whatever reasons, we know you are here. So as long you are legal, brother, and we know you are here to do what, then you can do your business. You can do anything. The war is not the issue. It's not whether they can have businesses, foreigners can have businesses, or they cannot have businesses. The issue is, are they in the country legally? Number one. Number two, is their business legitimate business? Is your business legally? That's the issue. Because once you are legal, Fernando, once you are legal in the country, I take it that even your business will be legal. So you can have a business. We have many foreigners who are mining, who are into mining, many foreigners who are into agriculture, many foreigners who are into farming, cattle farming, poultry farming. We have many foreigners who are into many types of business, aluminium, car dealership, many foreigners. They're legal. So the issue is not whether foreigners can do business in South Africa or they cannot do business. The issue is, are they legally in the country? Is their business legally in the country? Are they doing criminality in their business, or they're doing criminality? So Fernand, If you get your papers right, you can open your shop. Oh yes, you can open your shop. Because when you enter South Africa, we'll know Fernandez, we'll know where you come from. We know what you are here to do. For how long you're going to be in South Africa. Your permit will tell us whether you are here to work or not. Your permit will tell us whether you are here as an investor or not. So your permit that you are using to come to South Africa will tell us whether you are here to learn, you are here to do business, you are here to work, you are here on a holiday. So people are misunderstanding what this is all about. It is not about whether a foreigner in South Africa can do business, whether a foreigner in South Africa can go to school, can go to work. That's not the issue. The issue is, are you in the country legally? Is your business a legal business? That's what it's all about, all right? That's what it's all about. The rest, people are just making noise. Ignorant people making noise, you understand? And you just have to ignore them. Do not entertain them, because they are proving to us that they are clueless. They are not familiar with what is happening in South Africa. And you know that many people are not even South Africans. And because they're not South Africans, you can tell by their comments. You can tell by the things they say, all right? All right, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us for the first time, we thank you for joining us. Subscribe to the channel. As we conclude, the EFF will never take the side of the citizen when it comes to foreigners, whether legally or illegally, because the economic freedom fighters has members in Swaziland, in Botswana, in Namibia, in Zimbabwe, in Liberia, in Lesotho. The economic freedom fighters in these countries. And so some of those economic freedom fighters members, I am definitely sure that some of them are in the country, some legally, some illegally. And therefore, for the EFF to stand up against illegal foreigners, it will be them standing up against their own membership. And because of that, it cannot happen. It cannot happen. So don't expect them to change, all right? Don't expect them to change, and don't blame them. It is their politics. It is the politics of the EFF. It is the politics of Julius Malema. All right. Funega says they should go to other countries now. We can't host the whole world. Yeah, it says we've been hosting the whole world, Funega. Funega, we've been hosting the whole world, right? We've been hosting the whole world, and they love, I can tell you, the people from other continents, other nations, our African brothers, they just love South Africa, because in South Africa, it is the only country in Africa where it is easy to do business. It is the only country in Africa where you can arrive today, legally or illegally, and start a business the same day. South Africa is the only country in Africa in which you can come today. The first day you arrive in South Africa, you will not sleep hungry. You will not sleep empty-handed. That's how easy it is to live in South Africa. So these people, when they come to South Africa, they realize that it's easy to live in South Africa. They call their grannies, they call their brothers, they call their sisters, they call their neighbors. Hey, come to the land of South Africa. Come to Johannesburg. Come to KwaZulu-Natal. Come to Durban. Come to Mpumalanga. Come to Limpopo. Come to Northwest. Come. It's just come. And they are coming without passport, without papers, because South Africa, it's that easy. Anyone from anywhere can arrive today and start their business today. In South Africa, whether you are a foreigner or not a foreigner, legally or illegally. You can go to any shop and stock your product. No one will ask you, where do you come from? Or what do you do? You can stock any product and set up anywhere and begin to sell and make money. Take the very same money you have made, send it home. It's that easy in South Africa. And that is why many foreigners are preferring to come to South Africa. That's why South Africa is a target of foreigners in Africa. There's no country with more foreigners in the world than South Africa. No country in Africa that has more foreigners than South Africa. And all these foreigners are working. All these foreigners are doing business. All these foreigners, they even have the audacity. They even have the audacity to control the citizens of South Africa. They even disrespect the citizens of Africa because South Africans are humble people. South Africans are not noisy people. They hate war. They don't like war. They don't love war. South Africans are taught from young age to love one another, to love your neighbor. So they want the courtesy that we give towards one another. Monique says, we as South Africans don't have a problem with foreigners. The problem is that foreigners think they can do as they please and they want all benefits of South Africans. That is the issue, my sister. That is the issue, my dear. That's the issue, my dear. And it's been happening like that. It's happening like that. And so this is why people are saying, oh, well, enough is enough. We are tired of this thing. We don't want it to be the way it is anymore. And it's understandable. It's understandable. But the economic freedom fighters, that's what they believe. It is their policy. It is their politics. Let's respect the economic freedom fighters, okay? If we do not agree with Julius Malema, do not agree with the EFF, let's disagree and still respect one another. We must not allow the stance of Julius Malema and the economic freedom fighters to divide us as South Africans. They believe foreigners should be let alone in South Africa. Others, you believe that foreigners should only be legal in South Africa. But those foreigners who are illegal in South Africa should be sent back home. You believe that. The economic freedom fighters don't believe that. Julius Malema don't believe that. Can we respect the EFF? And can the EFF respect us? Because it is when the leaders of the groups which are saying foreigners must go begin now to attack the economic freedom fighters, begin now to attack Julius Malema, that now we're planting the seed of division. It is when Julius Malema is now calling those who are saying these people must go home and be documented. It is when the economic freedom fighters then call those people names that were losing. And if we were to look between the economic freedom fighters and those who says the illegal foreigners must go, who is standing on the side of the Constitution? Who is standing on the side of the Constitution? Omar David, brother, welcome. It's been long. How are the social programs if the government is using the investments to improve as opposed to replacement of population demographic? A brother in South Africa, man, there's nothing that is happening. Honestly speaking, there's nothing that is happening. You have unemployment in its highest level than it has ever been. Youth unemployment 43%. I mean, the government is not investing on the youth. The government is not investing on the people. The government is not investing in its citizens. To the contrary, the foreigners are taking all the money they make in South Africa offshore. Because when the Somalians, when the Nigerians, when all these people make money, they don't spend the money they make in South Africa, they spend it outside South Africa. User, thank you so much for joining us, brother. Hope to see you tomorrow. Safe where you are. Thank you for joining us. Enjoyed you, even though we disagree. But thank you so much for joining us, user. We love you, brother. Take care. So, like I was saying, so the government is simply not investing on anything when it comes to its citizens. Industries, some businesses are shutting down, industries shutting down, companies shutting down, no improvement whatsoever. All right. So there is no investment that is being made to the benefit of the people. No programs, nothing. Even when the programs are there, they'll be only for 2 days. I mean, not 2 days, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months at most. What can you do? And the stipend, it's peanuts. You understand? Omar David says, no domestic investment in natural, cultural resources. Brother, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing. You see, there's nothing. All they do is retrenching, people losing their jobs, people losing their companies, no rescue whatsoever. No rescue whatsoever. So it's a crisis. South Africa, it's in a crisis. And that is why many South Africans are crying to say, maybe if these illegal foreigners can go, maybe we can have space. Because South Africans, before the foreigners, South Africans were gardeners. South Africans were domestic workers. South Africans were bus drivers. South Africans were truck drivers. South Africans were tailors. South Africans were cleaners. South Africans were teachers. South Africans were doing all these jobs which are now taken or dominated by foreigners. South Africans were waiters in these restaurants, were cooks in these restaurants. But now they've been systemically replaced by foreigners. You understand that? They've been replaced by foreigners. And they're saying maybe if we get rid of foreigners, maybe we can establish ourselves again. All our spaza shop, we've been overtaken by foreigners. That is a fact in South Africa. The spaza shop business, if not 300 billion or something like that, but it's a lot, it's a billion business. And all this billions and billions of rands, the foreigners want to control it. The foreigners want to have it to themselves. The spaza shop economy is a big economy, 300 billion rands. And the government is doing nothing about it. And so there's nothing they're doing for the government. At least if the government wanted to uplift its citizens, the government would say only South Africans are allowed to run spaza shops, because spaza shop, it's a small business. It's a small business, all right? So why would somebody leave Somalia? Why would somebody leave Ethiopia to own a very small business? For what? So I think if South African government were to protect its citizens, the South African government will only limit the spaza shop business to South Africans. The spaza shop business to South Africans, because it has to do with food supply. A South African will never sell poisonous goods to another fellow South Africans. But because these people are not South Africans, Their families, some of them are not here. They don't care whether they're selling expired goods, poisonous goods. They don't care because their families are not here. And that's why we've had cases of children dying of after eating foods from the spaza shops, because these people, they don't care. They live in the spaza shops, they bath in the spaza shop, they sleep in the spaza shop, they do everything in the spaza shops. No hygiene whatsoever, most of them. And therefore, this is the condition we find ourselves in today. But what can we say? It is part of life. To all our brothers, our African brothers and African sisters, if you are in South Africa illegally, please do yourself a favor, go home, fix your papers, come back. I can assure you, when you come back with your documentation in South Africa, please fix your papers so you live a good life, you and your family, so that you cannot be threatened. Get a visa, get your permit, get your work permit, get whatever permit that you need in order to live nicely in South Africa. Just do those paperwork. Do those paperwork. Some of you, you have real business. Some of you are into aluminum. You are making aluminum doors and aluminum gates, aluminum. Some of you are into welding. Some of you are into, some businesses. Funega, thank you so much. Funega says, I have subscribed, brother. It was nice to be with you. Time to go. Funega, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Funega. It's time to go for me too. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Funega. Thank you, Lutando. Thank you, User. Thank you, Omar David. And thank you to the rest of you who are watching us. Thank you for joining us. Please do not go without subscribing. Subscribe, help the channel to grow. Thank you so much for your subscription. God bless you. Let us meet tomorrow again with another one. To all our brothers and sisters, we are praying for you and we wish you well as you go home. Fix your papers, be legal in the country. We love you. We do not hate you. When papers are required from you, it is not hate. It is for your own protection and for our own government to know who is in the country. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day to all of you. Bye-bye. Subscribe.